Hey beauty queens, how's it going? Today we are going to swatch this palette. This is the Carli Bybel BH Cosmetics original palette. I have not done this yet. I haven't touched this at all, so we're going to do this together, which is kind of exciting. And all we're doing today is swatching. We're not doing a look, we're not doing any of that. So we get to concentrate completely on these colors and how they look. So I'm going to be using these brushes. This is a different set than what I normally use for myself. Just those things are disgusting. They've got to get washed. So I'm going to be using either of these normal shadow brushes for the shadows, and then I'm going to be using this guy for the bronzers and the highlighters. So let's see. I'm going to start with probably the bronzers and highlighters, because that's actually the main reason that I bought the palette. And then we will go on the other arm and we will do the eyeshadows. So that being said, now the first one I'm going to be swatching is this guy right here. And like I said before, when I showed you guys this palette for the first time, I was really freaked out when I saw this because I thought it was really dark. But you've got to see how this thing blends out. So just going to tap that in there. And there is a lot of fallout on that I am just now discovering, but you can see that glimmer. It's nice and it's nice and subtle, you know. It's not something that's a little bit too much. So if you want something kind of for every day or a more natural look, maybe this is the one for you. And then let's see, the second one, we're gonna go in with this guy. And I was convinced this was gonna be a bronzer on me, but again, it blended out really beautifully. That's got a nice gold tone to it. Can you see that? Yeah, you can kind of see it. It's not really, they're not really as intense as I was thinking that they would be, you know, judging by what this palette looks like just off the bat. It looks very metallic, but I'm also finding that they're buildable. You know, you can go ahead and see, you can see it a little bit better now. But I'm thinking actually, now that I'm looking at these, this one would be less of a natural look and this would be more of one. Because see, you can hardly even see that on my skin tone. That's really interesting. And I thought when I finger swatched these, you know how finger swatches are completely different. But what I thought when I saw these and I finger swatched them, that this one was going to be a bronzer, but you never know. Maybe these will all end up being highlighters. That would be pretty cool too. See, well, look at that, look at that. See, there's a lot of fallout there, and there was a lot of fallout. You could probably see it spraying, but that looks like a bronzer. But if you blend it, what does it look like? See, this is how it looks on my finger. So that's a very subtle bronzer. That's like you can see it there on my skin tone, and that would be a highlighter for most people. For me, it's going to be like, you know, did she or didn't she go there kind of a thing. This last one I'm sure will be similar story. This guy right here. And now none of these have names, so I'm just kind of pointing and calling it a day. Well, that's really pretty. Oh, but there's so much fallout. Look at that. See all that fallout? That streak right there? But it blows off really easily. That is a bronzer. That is a really pretty bronzer. I like that a lot. That's perfect bronzer for my skin tone in the middle of the summer, or if you want like a shimmery contour or something. So that's really pretty. Now let's see what we think of these eyeshadows. Who knows? Trying out this guy right here. See, you can see that on the brush there. This is a nice mix of almost a metallic kind of a finish versus a matte. So this first one's a matte, and then that's what that looks like. That's nice. That's really pigmented. You can even see that on my skin. So we're off to a good start. At least as far as the swatches are concerned. You know how it can be with swatches versus otherwise. We learned that the hard way with the what was it? The Makeup Revolution palette. That was interesting. Anyway, so the second one, I feel like this would look really good with my top that I'm wearing today. This is this guy. It's kind of pinky. It's shimmery. It's really pretty. Oh my gosh. This might be my favorite. Can't really see it show up though on the camera. What is this? No. These better be good for camera or I will just die. Yeah, you can see that. It's like, depending on how the light hits it. That's really pretty though. Okay, so the third one, let's see. We'll go into these two colors next just because they're a little bit lighter. I'm gonna go into this one and then this one. So let's try those. I get the feeling this is going to be a very similar color. Yep, and I'm right. One of them is more of like a pinky and one of them is more of like a bronze color. So these are very similar colors, but they've got, it's almost like they are the same color, but they've got different undertones in them. So that's good. It's something that means that literally anyone can use this palette if she's combining different tones in it. And that's pretty normal for palettes these days anyway. So the fourth color is going to be this guy. That's a strong color. See, that's really nice. That's one of those tannish kind of colors. This is going to be a great palette for summer and I can't wait to start playing with it. So this next one is going to be a matte. Now this is not as dark as I was expecting it to be. I guess that means that this would make a good like crease color that wouldn't be too dark or too light either way. I'm just gonna go over that again. You go over your crease a few times anyway. Yeah, see, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. It's decent pigment. I'm sure that she meant it as a crease color anyway. So the next one is very similar, but it's not a matte. So let's see how this one turns out. I like that. This one also has less fallout. Like, what is that? She's got two plums in here, so and I hear that they're very different, so we're gonna find out. This is the first plum. And honestly, I'm surprised that both of these plums are a matte. I thought, you know, I figured with what I'm seeing in this palette that one of them would be a shimmer, but they're both matte. This looks like a just another crease shade, like a plum crease shade to me. And that's almost like a rust color, but like maybe like a cool toned rust. That's nice. I like that color. These are, like I said, this is a very summery palette. Obviously, they're all going to be very neutral, but I do like how she has the different tones in there. They're not just like taupey kind of brown colors. You know, these are colors that work really well on people with blue eyes or gray eyes that, you know, you don't usually find in one of these palettes, so that's good so far. We have two more to go. We've got this shimmery color that looks very similar to this guy, but I hear that those swatch differently as well. And then we've got this darkest brown color. So let's go in with that metallic. Look at that. And again, this one doesn't have as much fallout as that one does. Like, I don't know, like these ones up here were really, they really were flaking everywhere, but this guy and this guy, maybe it's like different pigmentations have different, they have different consistencies, so that might very well have something to do with it. But last eyeshadow is going to be the matte brown. What is it with the last eyeshadow in a palette not standing up to the rest of them? Like, what is that? With both of these palettes that I've swatched, that's been a thing. Yeah, look at that. That's just one. We're gonna go in again. We're gonna go in again. We built up the other ones. We can build up this one. Really try and make it work here. Yeah, there's a lot of, look at that. Look, see all that everywhere? It's all over my hand. I don't like that last color, you guys. I think compared to the rest of these, like, we've already swatched all of them, and you would think, wouldn't you, that this is like the darkest color? But so far the most, I don't know, like the darkest one was that purple, which is also kind of understandable, and it's really, you can still use it. It's usable. You just want to use it as a crease color, but it's very, that's interesting. So the last thing I'm going to do is, before telling you how I feel about this palette, even though I've already done that, is I'm going to take this other eyeshadow brush, this clean one, and I'm just gonna swatch each one of these as an eyeshadow, because I've heard that some people like to use those, these as eyeshadows as well, and I think that this might be a good eyeshadow for me, for one of the more intense shades. So the first one I'm gonna do, obviously, is that pink. We're just gonna go right down the line. So here is the first pink highlighter. And if my arm's a little bit red or a little bit tinged, that's because I just dry wiped those other colors off, so I might look like I have a rash or something. But anyway, look at that. That's a very Eastery color. There is a lot of fallout in it if you're using it as a shadow, but can you see that? Yeah, you can kind of see that up there. That's really pretty. You guys, this is going so much better than my last swatch video though, because like I've got this reflecting and oh my gosh, that last one was a mess and I tried so hard for you guys. I'm sorry about that, but this actually was inspired by that. Like I knew I needed to do something, but that actually spurred me to action. So anyway, this is, ooh, that's pretty. And again, not as much fallout. It might be down to color families, I don't know. You can see that one as well. That's really pretty. These would be nice for like doing a little bit of subtle shimmer in the corner of the eye, but I suppose people do that with highlighters anyway. Or, you know, like putting some like right on the lid there, that would be pretty too. This is the first bronzer, or the third highlight, depending on what your skin tone is. That's beautiful. Look at that. So shimmery, and it's not so like the other tan one, because there were a few tan ones in there that looked very similar to these bronzers. It's not so similar that you couldn't use them both. Like this one is obviously a highlighter formulation, so it's going to reflect more light, and it can be used as a lighter shade even though they look similar in the pan. That's why it's so important to swatch things before you buy them if you can, but you know, especially before you use them. Let's find out about this one. That's really pretty too. And that one, yeah, you could use that one. You could use that one as an eyeshadow or as a bronzer. I almost feel like you could use like mix 3 of these together just to do an eye on your own. So that's really cool. So that is the Carli Bybel palette, the original one. I know there's another one out and I haven't even seen it. I looked for it and I couldn't find it, but I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that it inspired you to maybe go check it out yourself. It's a $14.50 palette. I am getting less expensive makeup right now for reasons. But anyway, I was pretty impressed with this. We're gonna see, I am going to do a first impressions face video for you on this as well. You know, because like I said before, you know, you can't ever tell really for sure until you put it on your face. So far, good impression. I really like what I'm seeing from this. In any case, thank you for watching. I hope that you had a good time with me. Please go ahead and like, comment, subscribe my video. Also find me all over the internet on Facebook and Instagram, everything. So go ahead and find me there, and I will see you there sooner rather than later, and I will see you back here probably a little bit later rather than sooner, but only a little bit.